So, in a society that is out to become more powerful, in a society that is out to make more money, why would the media not want to tune itself to the whims and fancies of this very individual or institution? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what today's motion stands about. It is the fact that media no more is independent. It is the fact that media no more has any integrity. It is the fact that the media cannot be trusted because of the differing opinions inside the media, because of the differing opinions that are presented to people by the media. Can you not trust the media anymore? And therefore, it is a threat to democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to understand that one of the pillars of democracy is an independent and integral part of media, and that is an independent media. If today we fail to recognize the importance of an independent media, then we are saying that democracy itself has been tarnished to a very large degree. A traditional analogy of this case would simply be Dhritarashtra and Sanjay. Dhritarashtra was obviously blind, and Sanjay was his only means of getting information about his sons fighting. Therefore, today, like the media is our eyes and ears to the outside world, Sanjay was Dhritarashtra's eyes and ears to the outside world. And whatever information, ladies and gentlemen, true or false, was said to Dhritarashtra, he had to believe it. Today, if a media gives biased opinions, which obviously has been conceded by side opposition, that biased information, ladies and gentlemen, is worse than no information. If media today polarizes society, if it gives biased opinions on a particular person or a section of people, then apparently that is the information that we should be taking. Another very important facet of this whole debate is the fact that media for some reason has been confused with some kind of moralistic principle, some kind of entity that holds the government accountable. No, ladies and gentlemen, you, the people who elect the government, hold the government accountable. It is not the media's job to hold the government accountable, because the media itself holds itself accountable. That was also an argument that was presented, that the media itself holds itself accountable and therefore it cannot be a threat to society. Also, please understand that today the audience has been plundered with more and more arguments, and yet side opposition for not one instance has been able to oppose a single argument by us. The first speaker presented a utopian society in front of this whole audience and said that society is so simplistic that democracy is simply going and voting, and media helps you make the correct. Media has come to a form of influence where it helps, it teaches, it dictates the people what choice to make. And that, ladies and gentlemen, without freedom of thought, freedom of expression, that itself is a threat to democracy. Another important point that has a state-controlled media, and that it somehow or the other influences the people of Russia. That again goes to prove how much the motion has been conceded by side opposition. They agree that media can be controlled by the state, that media is controlled by the state, and the media will be controlled by the state, and information will be controlled by the state to tailor that information towards its own interests. Therefore, today I ask a very simple question: is Russia democratic or autocratic? The correlation is that its media is state-controlled, therefore it is autocratic. If the media was not controlled, it would be democratic. You would be seeing riots in Russia right now. Thank you.
Yes, do you have questions?
Thank you, Speaker, for your speech. Chairperson, my question to the Speaker is, when he completely ignores the fact that media is not self-accountable, does he not acknowledge that there are multiple channels and media houses within what consists of media who are competing against each other for validity? Hence, it is very basic nature of them to point out if another news media channel tries to misinform the public to increase their validity.
Okay. Thank you for the question. First of all, I don't understand how that point adds to the opposition's arguments at all. However, let me answer that question. Self-accountability of a person cannot be, or of an institution cannot be, moral accountability, cannot be political accountability, cannot be democratic accountability. The point here is that the media is held accountable by its own people. Therefore, if you get a certain section of media, then you can oppose another certain section of media by saying that you are holding them accountable by holding yourself accountable. The whole point of this debate is that since two sections of media want to compete with each other, therefore they will keep cutting each other off. It is not leading to any constructive democracy. It is therefore a threat to democracy, because you are being held accountable over competition, not over morals, not over proper judgment, not over what is written in the constitution, rather what is competition. Who is looking at the situation in Russia. We know what is happening in Ukraine. And yet, no one talks about it in Russia because the media open there stops it from happening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not therefore a threat to democracy, it is also a threat to morality, because it is not portraying any information only. The media is not portraying any information. So now, what we have come down to because of that question is the fact that it is not only a threat to democracy, it is also a threat to morality. Thank you.
Speaker. Now we have the third speaker from the opposition.
I'm audible. I'm audible. While coming here and drafting my arguments, I had a copy in front of me that spelled Bombay as B-O-M-B-A-E. Now, since according to the side proposition, essentially media has complete influence on us, it decides what we think and how we react to it. This is the spelling that I'll now use. B-O-M-B-A-Y is something that has been discarded from my dictionary. Good evening, members of the House. My name is Vinayak Tandon and I serve as the third speaker of the side opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about how the side proposition exactly presented their topic, they came up here with many words but provided justification for none of them. Active and freely thinking society, amazing. Independence of thought, amazing. Information is a basis of what, information is the basis according to which we think, and that is something that the first speaker of the side proposition came up and said. And that is literally the point that we are trying to prove. Information directly correlates to the core of our democracy. When we don't have information, we don't know who to elect. When we don't know who to elect, we don't make informed decisions. And that is why democracy is not in its best form when we don't have media. When we talk about how the side proposition came up here and talked about independence of judiciary and very conveniently failed to elaborate on that, they then came up here and talked about the code of public opinion or the code of media, which essentially is the same for them. When we talk about the code of media, they never mention the fact how it has in many times played a major role in providing justice to the victims. When we even talked about the tragedy that happened in the early 2000s, during the 2010s rather, during the network, they never once told us how the media was so pivotal in providing justice, how there were protests for providing justice, and ladies and gentlemen, protest is what democracy. That is the core of democracy, expressing our freedom of speech, fighting for what the people believe in when the government does not work. The fact that we elected them. Moving on, the side proposition came up here and talked about growth of power. Is it because of a political party? That's what the side proposition wants you to believe. Ladies and gentlemen, growth of power is not just monitoring. There are no 3 channels that we are looking at, and we are just trying to say, oh, these are the 3 channels I have, this is the remote television I have, and that is the only media I have. Growth of power is the growth of essential resources